Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. I play honeys close, like butter play toast. Welcome to the Guy and Harley podcast. I'm Guy Pigden.
And I'm Harley Neville. I'm guessing that was, I feel like that was like Biggie.
It is Biggie of his famous Juicy.
Yeah.
Juicy single. Very good song.
Yeah, well, I knew that one.
Yeah.
That's 2 out of 11 or something that I've known.
I just love the line too where he's like, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when I was dead broke man, I couldn't picture this.
Yeah.
Because we played them.
Yeah. Relatable.
Also, the fact that like he's talking like these are like, you know, like he's living in the lap of luxury playing these video games.
Yeah. Yeah, Super Nintendo.
And it's like, you know, obviously those systems, those consoles have been well and truly superseded.
Well, they have been, but they've probably gone up in value.
I guess to a degree, but now they have what you call what do you call them? Emulators.
Right.
Which means you basically just play everything on your computer. So for a time they were at a premium, like, you know, these were super expensive, like, you know, Street Fighter on Trade Me or something was really expensive. Cartridges were really expensive. And then, you know, emulators sort of started coming out. And you can have like hundreds of games all on your emulator. It takes a minute to download them, and suddenly it's like, well, so what? You just play on my computer. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to blow on any cartridges or anything. And so there's kind of like the luster of that, of collecting these old consoles, I think has been damaged by that.
For now. I think it'll come back. It'll be one of those cool retro things.
Well, I will say that we are the company that is distributing our zombie film over here in New Zealand and Australia.
I survived the zombie holocaust.
I talk about this a lot.
I'll just slip that in there every time Guy references it.
Is Vendetta Films, but they also distribute games. And I went in there to chat to them about, you know, their work on the distribution of our film. And they showed me they basically have a cabinet with all these old. They have like a Super Nintendo, a Nintendo, a Sega, and also more obscure ones. You know, and they're like a Commodore, Atari, Commodore 64, and it's all just like laid out in this beautiful cabinet. You're like, man, that is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and
that's just, you know, on display. I don't know. I'm assuming that's when they distributed all the way from back then.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty good.
Right.
So anyway, welcome to the podcast. This is a filmmaking podcast. This is a podcast about Guy and Harley and their lives that they lead. Mm-hmm. And firstly, I want to talk about one of my favorite topics. Not filmmaking.
Women.
Women. My other favorite topic.
Well, that's lucky because that's one of my favorite topics too.
Tinder update. Now, we've been talking a little bit about Tinder. Tinder this, Tinder that.
Because Guy joined Tinder recently.
I joined Tinder. I don't love Tinder.
He's desperately single.
Tinder conspiracies.
Painfully single.
Tinder conspiracies. I'm quite happy being single at the moment. I'm okay with it. I told you I've made peace with not having any sex until the second half of this year.
That's just a defense mechanism, people. It's a defense mechanism. I'm telling you. He's hurting.
Happily.
You should hear the whacking off I can hear. I live across the hall from him. Let me tell you, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Comes home from work about 6 a.m. Goes to sleep about 10 a.m. I tell you.
And those 2 hours aren't
4 hours.
Work-based.
4 hours. You know, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. Or crying.
So look, Tinder update. I've been on Tinder. I don't like Tinder, but I've actually finally figured out Tinder.
Right.
You know, we've been
giving...
you
like it a lot more.
No, we've been giving out... I still don't like it. We've been giving out... If anything, it makes it worse. We've been giving out misinformation about Tinder.
Have we?
Yeah, because I talked about
What, you mean that we were on this podcast talking shit about something we don't know shit about? That sounds a little bit...
It sounds unrealistic.
Out of character
It
for us.
does not sound like us at all.
No.
But basically,
Our opinions are informed.
What I've finally figured out, right, is if someone likes you on Tinder, you don't get a notification.
Right.
I thought you got a notification.
Got it.
You don't get a notification.
So it only works if you like them and they happen to have already liked you.
Or they like you after the fact.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Now, this is good and bad.
It sounds like a good thing.
Well, it's good because essentially you lose absolutely nothing by liking someone.
Yeah.
Because they don't even know it.
Yeah.
So if you like someone and they're like, you're a fucking ugly, disgusting perv.
Yeah.
You will never know.
Yeah.
So it's completely anonymous.
Right.
And, even they may never be aware of it.
Yeah.
And so that...
Tinder is, of course, an app for meeting people on the internet. A strange new app. Newish app.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what it is. I've never used it.
So you're free. You're free to like your heart out.
Yeah.
You're free to swipe to eternity.
Yeah.
But the problem with that means that, essentially, if you think about how many people are online at any given time, it's thousands, right? So it actually means that unless hundreds of people are liking your photos, then you're not going to get any matches.
Well, no, but surely it doesn't have to be in the same session of Tindering. So they might have liked you a few weeks back. You don't know about it. You stumble upon their picture. You give them the like, and then they get a notification. Then they go, all right, the ball's rolling.
Yeah.
And then they go, let's meet up and fuck.
But the problem is, there's a couple of problems. One, they say that it brings you closer to the front of the queue if you swipe someone right.
Yeah.
So if you've liked someone, then technically you should pop up sooner
In their
list of people. However, there's still the time, other factors go into it, like how close you are to them and the time that you've logged on last compared to when they've logged on and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
And also, to be honest, you might have gone through and, disliked 50 people and then you might get a match. So this idea that, you're brought to the front of the queue, I don't really think that's that true. It doesn't seem like that because I have, swiped through hundreds of girls, right? And then I've got a match.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Because that's how you do it. You swipe them all until...
No, I mean swipe dislike.
Oh, dislike.
Yeah. So
he's very picky. He's desperately single, but very picky.
I'm very picky, of course.
He did write and direct a feature film.
Come on, man. Give me props.
Yeah.
And so actually I don't think that part of Tinder really works properly. That or just no one likes my photos.
Couldn't possibly be that. Obviously, doesn't work properly.
So it's 100% Tinder app's fault.
Tinder's broken.
Tinder is fucked. I'm a winner.
Yep.
I'm handsome.
So
that is
so what does it all mean?
So what it means basically is I was thinking why is this not working? It was it wasn't working because I wasn't liking anyone.
Yeah.
And then statistically you have to like hundreds of people to really sort of start getting like backs unless you're a girl. A girl is going to be as much
because everyone's just liking you.
If you're a beautiful girl, then you are going to get hundreds of guys liking you. So therefore when you go on Tinder, you are going to get matches all the time.
You know what you need to do is you need to do
I've got a date set up, so don't worry about that.
So he's covered.
I've got a Tinder date set up, so that thanks to Tinder, we'll let you know how it goes.
When's your date?
Oh, it's not till because I'm going to the wedding. It's not till I get back.
All right, yeah, okay.
So it's a little bit in the future.
Guy's at a wedding right now. If you're listening to this.
So I'm speaking to you from the wedding.
Yes. We pre-recorded this.
Yeah.
Now, so what you need to do, though, I think, is you need to have a really funny profile pictures for your Tinder. So something maybe a real retro 80s, big thick spectacles and a turtleneck sweater or something like that, right? Because then you're going to stand out and people might actually kind of go, is this guy serious? And then they'll sort of have a wee look at your profile and they say, oh, filmmaker, he's the age I'm looking for. He's obviously got a sense of humor because I see from his other pictures that he doesn't always look like that.
Yeah, you could go funny angle, but to be honest, I don't think that works at all. I think that's 100% not. not work.
Put a big shot of your cock up there.
No, but
Just
I mean,
say this is what I'm packing, ladies.
this is what I'm working with. No, I think you get banned. You get flagged.
Right.
You get flagged.
Well, you certainly would get flagged, I should hope.
So, but no, I don't think that works at all. Because on the other end, if girls do that, you just left swipe them. You know, like you're not like, haha, you're really funny.
Yeah, I
you're
know.
like, haha, fuck off.
Well, sure.
And I think they're like they're 100% the same. They're like, haha, fuck off. I want to see what you look like. I don't give a shit that you're hilarious. You can be hilarious in some of these other photos, maybe, but on your actual main photo, you can't be hilarious.
You're right.
And also, you know, like, and this is the thing, like, I've noticed some Tinder trends.
Okay.
Everyone likes traveling. Yeah, we fucking get it. You like traveling. Like, everyone in the world likes traveling. That's not a fucking thing. That's not a, like, oh, this is me. This is
Hey, you like traveling? I like traveling too. We've got so much in common. Everybody does. It's like, I like breathing.
Yeah, exactly. So stop listing I like traveling as, like, let's just say that's a fucking given, all right? God damn it. God damn it. I'm sick of reading I like traveling. Also, big fat, like, there's just certain trends that always come, like outdoors traveling, outdoors eating traveling. You know, like, cool. What about something actually interesting?
Yeah, you gotta refine it down to a more sort of specific subgenre of things that you like, because you know you need to find someone that has a genuine connection with you, right? You got to find someone who genuinely gives a shit about the same shit as you.
Yeah.
Traveling, eating, and the outdoors, that doesn't really narrow it down at all.
No, and I think that's the big problem. Is like a lot of people are thinking like they're kind of writing their little hearts out with these little bios, but those bios are actually like the cliche bio that makes you look like a doofus.
Right, but it's very hard to write about yourself. Like,
Yeah.
do you have trouble? What did you write? What does your one say? You're like, oh, so I love traveling.
I said I like traveling. I'm a big fan of the outdoors and eating.
Yeah.
And I'm a filmmaker. No, all I said is like, I think I said I'm a filmmaker or I make films. So if you like movies, we'll get on well. That's my thing. Mm-hmm. Leave a bit of mystery, mystique.
Filmmaking, that is his defining.
That is all I have in my life. So come on. But yeah, so it's. I actually got some Tinder tips of a friend of ours, Pauline, who gave me some Tinder tips.
Why does Pauline know so much about Tinder? I was under the impression that she was in some sort of relationship.
No, this was when she was.
All right.
She was Tindering up a storm.
Yeah.
She was fucking she was Tindering the shit out of Tinder.
Right. All right. Okay.
So she gave me some good Tinder tips.
All right.
On my photos.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. But that's my tips. Is stop saying you like fucking traveling.
All right.
Just go for things, and also like kind of super wide shots of people at monuments. Is the worst.
Yeah, because you're like, listen, man, I want to judge you on your physical appearance. So just give me a good sort of, medium wide.
Yeah.
You know, I need to see if
no
your
bullshit,
ass,
medium wide.
I need to see if your ass is fat, if it's too fat or not. But you need to be close enough that I can still see your face, because that's very important too.
And this is the thing. Is like, yeah, we get it. You went to an interesting place once. That's not what Tinder is for. Tinder is for judging people solely on their looks.
Their physical appearance. That's what it's for, right?
That is literally what it's designed for. So let us judge you.
Yeah.
Provide photos.
You're not playing the game properly.
Exactly. Don't put a photo of you standing like 100 meters away, standing next to a Buddha.
Yeah.
Or fucking standing on a cliff.
As they say, good from afar, but far from good.
But yeah, standing on a cliff is out, man. And also,
unless you're about to jump off it. That's all I'm saying.
Also, I'm not a huge fan of
suicide.
No,
it's not funny.
I was okay with that joke. My issue was like, I'm not a fan of the mid jump photo. That's
right.
Another huge popular Tinder photo.
What if it's the mid jump photo in a bikini?
That's again. There's a lot of those too.
Well,
it's better.
Can't complain. If it's a medium wide shot,
but it's not a medium.
If it's a medium wide shot, jumping bikini shot, I feel like there's something we can work with.
But
here.
it's just that. I guess it's just falling into unintentional cliches that you don't know about. It's like, listen, ladies, everyone is taking photos of themselves jumping in midair.
Okay. But
it's real well done.
What can they do then?
Well, I've got one more Tinder no-no.
All right.
Instagrammed selfie. Instagrammed out all your flaws and imperfections selfie.
Well, Instagram, do you mean like photoshopped?
No, I mean like you put Instagram, you put on a filter on, and then that is that's one of your profile pics.
I'm fucking handsome on Instagram.
Yeah,
so add
everyone
me.
is-
Harley Neville, add me.
Everyone is handsome on Instagram. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, look,
I look really exceptional.
it's cool that Instagram can make you look better than you really do in real life. But what are you going to do when you arrive and you've got all these zits on your face and you know, like huge bags under your eyes and you're just not even recognizable as the same person?
Well, sure, but that's life, isn't it? Like that's the online world versus the real world, and that happens all the time.
I know, but
like, that's normal. And in fact,
we need to make assessments here, crucial assessments.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Guy. If you see your Instagrammed photo, and then you meet her in real life, and she's not as hot as the Instagrammed photo, you're probably still not gonna be like, ooh, you're not as perfect as you made out to be. You're going to be like, yes, I can see that you're the real life version of that person in the photo. Just like a movie star. Like when you see a movie star in real life, you know, and you're kind of like, man, I'd totally still fuck you. Angelina Jolie without your boobs and all that, you know? Like, you know, you don't look as hot as... You don't look as hot as you did
when you had your fallopian tubes
in Tomb Raider,
right?
But you know, you're still attractive in a real life kind of way.
Yeah.
So you know, it's all right. I feel that I'm okay with some Instagram filters.
Not on Tinder though, man. The whole point is like, don't misrepresent yourself. The other thing is like basically you'll see and this is where you have to give a guaranteed left swipe no, right? Guaranteed left swipe no is 5 or 6 kind of selfie photos where you just see like their face or
super
from their
close
face
up
to their boobs. Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry,
you're obviously hiding something.
Yeah, we have to rule this out because you know you could be very, very fat.
Basically, not to offend.
No, but I mean,
there's so many people that like big people.
There's nothing wrong,
male and female, both ways.
And those people will swipe you right, but you actually just from again representing yourself as like, I see your face, you have a beautiful face, but that's only one aspect of what I'm going to be having sex with.
So it's very important that you represent yourself, you know.
And look, don't think I'm hypocritical. There's like full body shots of me, so you can see that I'm not fat.
You better have on your Twitter
no filter.
Tinder, you better have A, no filter, B, a nice shot of your face.
Yep.
C, a nice medium wide that shows you don't have a big fat ass.
Yep.
And no jumping pictures.
Got it. And nothing with me like by a monument.
Yeah, no monuments. I'll tell you what, if I see any of those on Tinder...
when you're scrolling through the guys.
Yeah, when I'm scrolling through the dudes in my neighborhood, I'm gonna call you out on that.
No, I'm safe.
I tell you, this online business, right? It's changed the dating world, obviously, in many ways. But I was working the other night. I work at a local bar up here, and you know, I was looking around, and there was all these like very attractive women at this concert that I was, you know, working at.
Yep.
And I was looking at them and I was like, oh, these girls are really hot. But I was also like, well, you know, they're like sort of attainably hot. Like even the really hot ones, I was like, you know, you're really attractive, but you're still a real life person, you know, with your, you know, real flaws and so on. But then I thought to myself, but you know what? If I saw you on Facebook, I bet I would assume that you were probably like out of reach or out of my league or something like that, because you know, this Facebook version of people that gets put forward is so sort of perfect, and you know, and you kind of forget that, well, actually, like if you meet up with them, they probably like are a real person, you know, behind all those profile pictures. And
I will say there's an important thing to remember when you're out single in the field.
All right,
beautiful women have to sleep with guys too.
That's true. I mean,
and I think we forget that.
Yeah, like got needs.
You know, and yeah, of course, occasionally that's going to be the super handsome male model type, right? But there's actually not that many super handsome male model types around. You know.
Also, I do feel like women care a lot more about personalities.
Yeah,
you know,
if you make someone laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at your situation.
Exactly. I am batting way above my league.
Angie's a beautiful lady. You are
short.
hairy.
So I'm not just hairy, man. I am hairy. I'm the hairiest man when I walk into any room.
Yeah.
Any room.
Yeah.
I walk in, I'm the hairiest man there.
And also, you are bald.
I'm prematurely bald.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely I'm doing it right. So you have to assume.
Well.
You have to assume it's.
And it can happen. And that's the
something
thing.
to do with-
You basically charmed her.
Yeah.
It was your personality that won her over. She was like, I'm not sure about these other things, but this guy, he's funny, he's witty, he's smart, he's intelligent, he's articulate.
Despite what this podcast might imply.
Yeah. And so, I'm going to look past those things and people will look past your flaws.
So a lot of those big, handsome male model types are
fucking idiots.
well, they're often douchebags, or at least supremely arrogant.
Yeah, and also not that. Yeah, I mean, because also there's the thing is like if you, and this is true both of women and men, but if you grow up being incredibly attractive, life affords you a certain set of privileges that you are not otherwise going to have. So, and that applies to all walks of life, really. And
that's why you can't get the job at the local whatever production house or something like that. Despite having all the skills, and you walk in there and there's some 20-year-old hot girl.
Yeah. Those privileges afford you, a certain quality of life that us normies can't always experience. However, they also make you soft. They make you soft in the head. And they that means that you don't have to fight, you don't have to struggle, you don't have to hustle, you don't have to read a book, you don't have to educate yourself.
So the conclusion is that all attractive people are soft idiots, with the exception of my girlfriend.
And, some other nice people.
Some other nice people who are very attractive.
Yeah.
Right.
But, we're just saying generally speaking.
But so the point is, anyway, that attractive women
can
still need to sleep with people.
And you can be that person.
Sometimes they will sleep with those attractive model types, but eventually they'll get sick of it, guys.
Yeah, they will.
And that's when you swoop in and do some charming.
Make a few jokes.
Make a few, have a gag here and there.
People like jokes.
Pre-write something if you have to.
Write some stuff down in your hand and then just bust it out. Like, think of sort of things that are relevant or pertinent to her. Yeah.
Well, this actually reminds me of back in high school, Guy and I used to talk on the phone all the time, sometimes for literally hours.
Yeah.
And I moved up to Te Awamutu when we were living in Dunedin. Te Awamutu is just south of Hamilton, and I used to still call them we'd still call each other sort of reasonably regularly, and we'd talk about things such as upcoming dates and so forth. And one of the big topics we would discuss is like, okay, well, what the fuck am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
What are we going to I've got this date on, Tuesday, I'm going to have to the movies with, such and such. Yeah. What am I going to talk about? And so we would literally think
spreadsheets
up things, and I'm not kidding. I would write down bullet points. I'm like, that's good. That's right here. Some funny thing that I did recently. My observation on this. Mr. Randall's such a dick. I would actually write them down.
School is so lame, right?
I actually stole a line from Guy one time that he used on some girl. Yeah. Right. He's dating some foreign girl, or had a date with some foreign girl. Yeah. And there was this foreign girl that I liked at my school. Right. And Guy had said to this girl, he said, "So where'd you pick up that funky accent?" And then I was like, "This is genius! And he told me about it, so I wrote it down. And then I approached her at school and was like, "So, where'd you pick up that funky accent?" And let me tell you, it didn't work. Well, she did come to the formal with me, my sixth form formal, but nothing happened. No chance. Like, she just was never too interested. I don't think.
Well,
she was American, as it turns out. I probably could have picked that.
another gem of my lines from back then. So I was, I was too drunk. You said that I was too drunk to hook up with at the formal. How about now?
Or I'm only moderately drunk now.
Pretty much.
Yeah, well,
So we were stupid when we were kids.
No, but that is still sound advice. Like if you've got a date, if you've got something going on, and you're worried, just write down things first.
Especially now that people have phones. You can have all your bullet points on your phone. It can just seem like you're quickly checking your phone.
Oh, don't do that. It's rude. I hate it when people check their phones when we're like having a conversation. It's like, oh, he must be bored or she must be bored.
No, but you get someone to send you a text and then you just go and check your notes.
No. Just memorize them. You can memorize 5 or so topics to bring up at some point in your date. You can do that.
But yeah, so that's the update on Tinder. I've figured out Tinder. Tinder is working. I've got some matches on Tinder. We'll see how it all goes. I'm not holding my breath.
Yep. No, I think it's... But tell us a little bit more about this. You've got a date lined up for when you come back.
Yeah.
What's that situation?
Well, I mean, it was just...
Because this must be Guy's first date and...
Well, yeah, I guess...
I mean, when was your last date?
Over 2
before,
years
it must have been before your previous girlfriend.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's like, how long? 2 years or something. It's ridiculous. You are going to be...
Yeah, I'm going to be in hot water.
You are going to be in hot water.
Yeah, look, I mean, and basically, look, it did seem weird because even then it was like a match and then it was just like, hey, how's it going? Like, we're just having a text conversation, but it's like, but we've never met. We've never, ever met.
So, do you like stuff?
What kind of music you into?
What's your favorite color?
Well, cool.
Seen any good movies lately?
Seen any good movies lately? That's a gem, that one. That's always a winner.
See, just write this stuff down before you date, guys.
This is free. This is free for you. So, yeah, and then basically we just started a conversation. I was like, look, I'm not great at Tindering. Can we meet up? Like, let's meet up for a drink sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm old school.
I like talking to people face to face.
I'm nearly 32.
But it is weird that, so I've got these matches on Tinder, and then I'm just going to be like, hey, what you doing? Oh, not much, so we liked each other. We're a match.
Well, this does not bode well for your conversation making abilities.
Well, I'm not going to say all this stuff exactly, but
you've got to think up something witty to say on Tinder.
Of course, I said I'll say some funny things. Look, I'm a writer, man. It's my fucking
you
job.
should write some jokes about their pictures.
I'll be writing up a storm, no doubt about it. But I mean, the whole idea is to get out of this Tindering shit and get into actually.
Be like, so let's meet up.
Let me show you. Let me do my stand-out routine for you in person.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me work on my jokes in person. See how the room appreciates it.
Yeah.
But that's Tinder update.
Well, I saw her Tinder.
Yeah.
And she is she's a little out of your league.
Now, when you say, didn't we just have this conversation that beautiful women have to...
I know, I'm just saying you're going to have to bring your A game, is all I'm saying. I'm saying,
Well, look, to be fair, the date could be cancelled.
Yeah.
It could be cancelled before it... And this is a tentative,
Yeah.
Today, who knows? She's getting tindered by thousands of people every day.
Yeah.
And some of those will be those male models, So my wit and humour will just have to get me through.
But has she added you on Facebook?
No.
Why not?
Because you don't want to start the ads, because then if the Tinder date goes badly, you want to now block me on Tinder.
Yeah.
Right? Which, so basically you can't get to, because now if it became like, oh, we're friends on Facebook, I'm following you on this, you've got my number. Suddenly I'm... I could be this axe-murdering guy.
Well, you definitely could be.
With all this information and all this access to it. Whereas if you just started off with the Tinder, then the meetup, then those things will come.
Right.
Yeah. Because also, look, imagine if you just start Tindering someone and just having some chats, you Facebook each other, and then something real weird, they say something real weird or crazy, and you're like, ugh. Oh, fuck.
You just delete them on Facebook like you delete them on on Tinder.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's just kind of like now they've ingratiated. They know more.
They do know a lot.
They know a lot more.
Although, to be fair...
They got too much intel, man. There's too much information on Facebook.
But let's cut the crap. We've looked at her Facebook. We face stalked her.
Jeez, I hope she's not listening to this.
Yeah, she's probably not. She's not on your Facebook, so how would she?
Well, because, if you search Guy and Harley, this could be one of the things that comes up.
Why would she be searching Guy and Harley? She doesn't know me.
Good point. Well, no, but I guess if you...
Unless I message her.
Well, I guess if you just go a bit deeper into it, like if you do some intel on me...
She's not listening, and if she is listening, hello.
Nice to...
Just ignore everything we've just said.
Please do.
He's a lovely man.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I feel I've dug a huge hole already before I even started talking about this. So that's that done.
All right, date's over. So, next on the agenda. Tinder is finally done.
So now I wanted to talk a little bit about a question we received.
Yes, we had a viewer question. We love viewer questions, guys, so don't be shy with these.
This is a good one too.
All right, it's a bit... All right, here we go. So, this is from Salima Leilani.
Is it Leilani or Lalani?
Oh, ask her. Salima Leilani. Let us know in the comments below, Salima.
Nice name.
Okay, I have a great concept for the next podcast. Okay, maybe great podcast. Hear me out. So you know how there are two kinds of actors out there. There is method acting with more versatility and complete dedication, and you immerse yourself in the character, like Christian Bale. Or someone who can play the similar kind of character really well. So same character again and again, but really well, like Denzel Washington, apparently. So, blah, blah, blah. What are your thoughts on method acting? I have an appreciation for it. A lot of people think it's crazy, but I think it shows commitment. So, what do you think?
Well, what do you think? You're an actor.
Yeah, I think...
So what's your process?
Well, look, I think I take my hat off to people that can do it, to do that. I think they're great. Good for you. Like, that's a lot of commitment there. But for me, I approach my acting like I approach women. I walk up, I say my lines... and I leave before someone asks me to. There's no big method for me. If it's supposed to be sad, I'll say it with a sad voice. And if it's supposed to be happy, I'll say it with a happy voice. And then...
Holy shit, man. The tricks of the trade exposed right here.
Look, I'm a very practical man in all ways, I'm a very practical...
If it's sad, you'll say it in a sad voice.
Straight up.
For young actors out there you go.
Well, look, I honestly do. I'm a very practical man, right? So I don't buy into any of this bullshit about getting into the mind of the character and all that. No. Here's what I do. I memorize the lines, and then I say them. Okay? This is how I operate.
So I'll just interrupt just for 1 second.
Yeah.
So you don't have like little notes on your script like emphasize this dark moment here, trying to come out of the funk or whatever. Like you don't have like those little cues for yourself, maybe.
Well, who knows what the future holds, my friend? But at the moment, no,
100%
no. But what I do is I go through each scene. And I memorize the lines, not word for word. I sort of write it the best that I'll tweak a few things, change a few things, and I'll memorize the lines, and then I'll practice with the director.
Yep.
To say, I'll do it my way, how I'd read it, so I read it and I say, okay, well, probably this guy's feeling this way about this thing, so I'll say it like this. And then I'll do that for the director, hopefully in a rehearsal. And then if the director's got some notes, he'll be like, no, it was like make it real happy, or do this, or do that. And I'll be like, all right, cool. And I'll change it as per his direction. And that's basically it.
So your method is reading the lines.
No, memorizing the lines.
Memorizing the lines.
And then saying them with emotion, which is acting.
Okay. Well, look, I have a couple thoughts on this. Firstly, this is quite an interesting topic because I was actually having a conversation with Mike Edward, who is one of the stars of
I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
He was saying he played a character on Shortland Street for about a year.
A rapist.
Yes, he was. Believe he was. We don't really know. We just know all this stuff secondhand because we don't watch.
Oh yeah, we didn't watch it.
But he basically played this bad guy for a year. And I was talking to him. I caught up with him the other day, and he was saying that he felt that he sort of messed himself up because essentially his character was such a prick that everyone hated doing lines with him, like hated doing scenes with him because, they're acting opposite this fucking dick. Mm-hmm. And so his instinct, because he is a very nice guy in real life, his instinct was to be the complete opposite of that between takes. To be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, hey, is everyone good? And chatting and being very friendly and effusive and very easy to get on with, because obviously he didn't want his character, like anyone to kind of assume that he was anything like his character, and he didn't want to give that, like, they were already struggling so much to do these scenes with his character, he didn't want it to be all difficult. But he said that he actually, on looking back, thinks that caused a lot of problems because he was switching so drastically from the mindset of this character to Mike Edward, the nice actor who gets on with everyone. Mm-hmm. And so he said that, going forward, what he thinks he's going to do is going to be a little bit more method in his approach, because swinging so drastically in and out was not good for his performance. And that's how method acting works, is basically you stay in that moment. Method acting is basically becoming the character, and normally you don't kind of break character after you call cut, and that's not, and you can take it to extremes as well. Wesley Snipes said everyone had to call him Blade on Blade. Mm-hmm. That's a little much.
Well, it's just silly.
Yeah, it's a little much because that's a name. And the machinist, Christian Bale starved himself almost to death to be the super skinny guy. And so there's many examples of method acting being great. There's also many examples of people just acting, people not method acting, and there's a whole bunch of other sort of methods and techniques, and the Stanislavski and all this shit. So this is not the only way to do it. There's another one, I think, where you recall memories to get you into the emotion of the scene from your own life. And so there's sort of a whole bunch of different ways to do it. My personal approach is a little bit more method than you. And, I don't begrudge Mike Edward, for wanting to be, not wanting to be the friendly guy in between being an asshole. If he wants to be an asshole and he's just going to, do that and sort of keep to himself, in between takes, that's fine. For me, as a director, it's all about what works for the actor. So if you want to do it super method, that's fine. If you want to just say the lines, and do your best interpretation without being so deep into the character, that's also fine. It's really whatever, as long as the performance is good, it doesn't matter how you get there at all. And what works for one person is not going to work for another person. And I don't think that necessarily that method acting delivers any better of a performance than someone who just acts, like Jack Nicholson, for example, has done an amazing performance. He's not a method actor, and he doesn't believe in method acting, but he's delivered some exceptional performances. And and to be honest, sometimes it is as simple as learning your lines well, so that you can infuse them with the right emotion and the right thing, because you know them so well. And it's so natural, it becomes so natural that the acting becomes so natural, and that's sometimes all you need to do, I think. But, from my perspective as an actor, I do like to get a little bit more into the character. So for me, when we call action, I'm trying to evoke the emotions, and I'm trying to feel those things. And we did a scene in Older where, we were doing this breakup scene, basically, and the actress opposite me was kind of joking and wanting to, kind of have a laugh and a banter between takes. And I really didn't want to do that because that was really throwing me from being fucked off in the actual scene. And so I didn't, and, clearly that was not something that she didn't want to do that, be really in the moment just the whole way through. She was quite fine to break in and out, and I wasn't, and I found that, more difficult. But on the same token, I've done scenes where have joked around and laughed on and had like in the middle of these super serious scenes, super dramatic scenes, and that has also been fine. So it's just kind of a case by case basis. But I do like to feel like, so like if I'm looking, I want to feel like I'm in love with that person until we call cut. I want to feel like I hate that person until it's cut, So I do like to be in that moment while we're shooting and try and really be in it as much as I can. But I also, and I guess keep the same vibe when we stop rolling, but it's not that I have to stay in character after we stop rolling or do, like I start thinking about other things like the direction and all that stuff, normally because I'm directing myself, but so it does shift. But I do feel, and I guess me going forward is I'd be quite interested in going a little bit deeper with that sort of thing. There's some serious roles coming up that we might end up doing for a movie that we might end up shooting, and I'd very much like to get really deep into that and sort of embrace as much as we can while filming. But the problem with the method acting is at some point there's method acting, and then you're just batshit crazy.
Yeah. And
you're just being, and also like, it's not worth being so difficult that you're holding up the production through your difficulty.
Yeah.
There's a story that Tom Hardy, who played Bane in Batman, but also he's the new Mad Max in Mad Max Fury Road, apparently disappeared off into the desert for 3 weeks, and no one could find him, and they were like, we're shooting now, where the fuck is he, where is he gone? And he went out into the desert to find his character, to find...
What, for Mad Max?
Yeah, for Mad Max.
Jesus.
And it's kind of like, because Tom Hardy is an excellent actor, that's not an excellent choice. And like, there's the thing, on a big Hollywood films, you can almost afford to kind of do that and nothing really happens, but in a film we were talking about, a New Zealand film, if you leave for 3 weeks, when you come back, there'll be someone else playing that role.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And, there's what actors sometimes do, and I think this is very dangerous, is in method acting, they use that as an excuse to be a fucking dick on set. They use that, they're like, yeah, my character's an asshole, so I'm an asshole and I'm rude to everyone. No, those two things don't go hand in hand in that way with the people that you're working with. Or like, I'm going off at people and shouting and screaming and ranting because my character's about to do that. No, that's not okay.
It's unprofessional.
So, you do have to strike a balance. I think there is room for both approaches. I would err closer to trying to feel those things. You err closer to not.
Well, I mean, I do recall several times when I didn't want to fuck around in between takes. We shot a film, Goodbye Jimmy Reed, and I seem to recall I actually told Guy and the DP off, because like there was like, okay, cool, so in this next scene you're gonna cry, Harley, and I'm like, yep, sweet as, got it, guys. And then these guys, I'm trying to sit there and like get in the zone, and these guys are like dicking around and having a laugh, and I'm like, guys, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm trying to get in the zone here. And
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember? Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? I was just before we shot the scene where I was supposed to get a tear going.
And we were like, chill out, Harley. Don't be a fucking dick.
No, actually, to their credit, both of them just chilled out and like calmed down and were very professional. But still, like, they had to be told off first. And then, but to be fair, this was when we were like 23. This was a long time ago. And then another time was on I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. There's a scene where I'm supposed to be crying, sort of, or very, very upset.
Yeah.
And I seem to recall there was I kind of wanted like a moment in between, and there was all this other stuff happening, and I remember the clapperboard came up and got clapped right in my face, and I had a mention to Guy, and I sort of said, I want to give me a moment to just kind of get in the zone. Don't just say action, because I've got to try and be like, I've got to be really emotional here. And then the clapperboard girl came up and like clapperboard like right in my face, and I was quite surprised because Guy was like, It was one of the few times I'd seen Guy kind of be like kind of rude to somebody a little bit, like not rude but like curt, And he was like, don't clap it right in his face.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is, unfortunately, like, my intention was right.
Yeah.
You know, she shouldn't have clapped right in your face. However, me, like, losing my temper was probably more distracting for you than the clapperboard in your face.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the clapperboard didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
I think it was quite loud in my, like, ear kind of thing, and I was sort of, like, briefly... you know, sort of moderately annoyed by it, but like not really a big deal. But I do still, you know, recall, you know, with clarity that memory, and it was because of your response to it.
Yeah.
But that being said, like that was fine because he was kind of angry, and you know you need that worked. I could use that. I could use like angry and tense and turn that into emotional. You know. Whereas I couldn't use laughing and jovial and turn that into sad and emotional. You know?
Well, I think it's just important, like, when actors are trying to do emotional scenes, is to just give them a little bit of space to do it. And you shouldn't be it shouldn't be really loud on set at that time as you're sort of setting up. And you should give them, like, I don't even think you should be, like, kind of getting in there. Like, you should have a chat to them before they're gonna get ready. But then when they're getting ready, you don't come in and go, hey, so how do you think the catering was?
How was lunch?
Yeah, was it good? Because I think
gonna go for a beer after the shoot.
Yeah. Oh shit! Can't wait. I imagine this. Can't wait for the shoot to end today.
Yeah.
Keen to head down for piss up. You know, like, there's just some things that you have to be very cautious of. And you know, everyone, like, some people can go in and out of moments very easily, and some people it takes a bit of work. And I completely understand either way. But, you know, it is an interesting thing, but I think either works, but you just have to take the right approach for both.
Agreed. So good question, Salimi Leilani.
Salima.
Salima.
Don't say salami. Don't say salami.
Salima Leilani.
Yeah.
All right, Salima. Yeah, so good question. Now, do we have time for one more? Or are we going to go to this networking event that we are lined up to go to tonight?
That we're half an hour late for already. And we'll be another half an hour before we get there. It's your call, man. What do you reckon?
Well, we might as well finish very briefly Salima's other question, other quick topic. Sometimes I feel like the celebrity industry is almost circus-like, keeping talent on the back burner and the real creative process at a standstill just to put people who like to gloat on the front stage. So many artists I love aren't touching that stage as much as I wish they were, and it's all because they're not full of themselves. We have gone into an era fixated on self-image and the cool factor versus artistry, feeling, and genuine talent. There's a hidden agenda behind the artist industry that I disagree with, because I'm a lover of music. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, look, I think that's a problem. That is a real problem. The celebration of mediocrity, the celebration of celebrity.
Yeah.
The being famous for not being famous. You know, being famous for a porn tape, being famous for being rich, being famous because your parents are rich. You know, like, these are at one point these would be insane things. And now these are our role models.
Yeah, well, like, to keep it very local, like, Sally Ridge and Jamie Ridge. Like, isn't Sally Ridge only famous because she went out with a rugby player?
She was married to Matthew Ridge,
Yeah, who was a rugby player, a league player.
Yeah.
And so, but, like, what did she do? Why do we know her
Nothing
name?
at all. Nothing.
She was just famous for that. And then Jamie Ridge is famous for being
the daughter.
His kid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, see, that's the worst kind of celebrity right there.
Oh, absolutely.
No offense, Jamie, if you're listening. I saw you at the food court recently in Ponsonby. You looked very pretty.
Yeah, well, look, no, I think it is a real problem because there was certainly a time when no one would ever care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And what happens is when these people are championed, real talented people are not. They take the place of those.
Unless these real talented people are able to promote themselves very well, which oftentimes they aren't necessarily.
Yeah.
They're just out there making music and just doing their thing, but they're not yelling about it the loudest, so you don't hear anything about them.
Yeah.
Which is why I always yell about our shit on Facebook fucking 24/7.
So it's a horrible culture.
It is. But I do have something to say, which is that, Salima says here that we have sort of come into this era fixated on self-image and the cool factor versus artistry. But I would argue that has actually been around since the beginning. Like, was Humphrey Bogart necessarily the best at what he did? Or was he the one who had the right image? Like, was Madonna the best? Not Madonna.
She was good.
She was good. Marilyn Monroe, was she the best?
Yeah, right.
Or did she just have this very marketable image that the public enjoyed? Like, that has always happened. It always will. Like, think about how many ugly people out there with amazing voices, and yet the charts are not filled with ugly people with amazing voices. Yeah. They're filled with beautiful people with amazing voices, or beautiful people with shit voices that have been doctored. And so it's just kind of it's part of the course, really. It's what a celebrity is.
Well, I guess though, like at the end of the day, Marilyn Monroe and Humphrey Bogart were talented at what they did. Were they the best? Maybe not. But they were talented at what they did. What is Paris Hilton good at?
But she's a famous socialite.
What is Kim Kardashian like? She is literally famous for doing a sex tape and for having a rich family. There's nothing. Whereas Marilyn Monroe may have been beautiful, but she could also act, and she was incredibly charismatic on screen.
I guess when I read this, it said we have gone into an era fixated on self-image and the cool factor versus artistry. The first person I thought of was Kanye West. Now, Kanye West does have a lot of ability.
Yeah.
His first album in particular I thought was very good. I didn't really get on board with much more than that.
He's good.
But he, is he the best? Is he as cool as he thinks he is? Definitely not. Is he as good as he thinks he is? Definitely not.
Well, he's up there. He's pretty good.
He doesn't do it for me.
He's one of the best hip-hop. He can be, at times, one of the best.
I think one of the things he's best at is his self-image and cool factor.
Well,
until recently when he took it too far.
Self-arrogance.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, I think it is. I guess there was always an element of it. But I also think that, now, even just think about, what's been one of the most popular books of the last, 5 years? 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
I was going to say Grey's Anatomy.
Now, there's a time where that would have never been published because a book publisher would have gone, this is dog shit, and we have people like fucking... we have someone like, I'm trying to think of an old writer from the sort of 1920s to 40s. What's his name? Ernest Hemingway, right? Okay. We have Ernest Hemingway writing really thought-provoking shit, and we have you with 50 Shades of Grey. Now, Ernest Hemingway was a celebrity of his time. People knew of him, knew about him, read about him, and were interested in his work, right? In a way that I don't know if they would be now, because we've got this fucking 50 Shades of, which is essentially Twilight fan fiction has become more
softcore erotica
that was more successful than something that Hemingway would write. And I just think there was a time where no one would take 50 Shades of Grey seriously, and now we're making a franchise out of it, and we take it the most seriously about of everything. So that's a problem.
Well, yeah, there's definitely no doubt about it. Civilization is in the decline.
Yeah.
Or at least it's in a slump.
It's in a slump.
It's not necessarily a long-term decline. I don't want to be too sort of pessimistic. But we might be in a bit of a slump at the moment as far as our kind of popular culture and our sort of our goals, culture in general,
our goals and our ideals.
Yeah, there might be a bit of sort of social corruption here. Where we're kind of just drifting down the wrong path. We should be idolizing scientists who have achieved great things for humanity, and instead, you have haven't heard of most scientists.
No, the only time you hear of scientists is when Harley parrots on about them
Yeah.
on this podcast. That's all you know about him. That's all I know about him.
Yeah, and yet ask Guy something about Paris Hilton. He knows exactly what's going on.
I can tell you all about the angles.
He can tell you all about that porn tape she did.
Okay, well, look, I did want to just mention, speaking of porn, I got caught almost watching porn at work.
Why on earth, Guy, would you watch porn at work?
This is
were you gonna have a quick whack at your desk?
No,
was that the plan?
this is a classic, and someone I was dating caught herself out like this as well.
She caught herself watching porn?
No, because so it's basically what
She's
happened.
like, stop that.
My computer, right, ran out of battery. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it just conked itself. Then I plugged it in, and it conked itself while I was watching porn.
Right.
Okay, so I was in the middle of a RedTube clip.
Yep.
Right, and then it just shat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then when I went to work, I plugged it straight in.
Yeah.
I opened it up, and then I let it load.
Yeah.
And I started doing my work. Okay.
Yeah. And then you looked over.
And I also had it on mute, like I had the sound on mute.
Because I'm straight across the hall.
Yeah, so
Angie and I live directly across the hall.
So I don't want to hear people...
Porn's got to be on mute, or at least with headphones.
Or exactly, it's got to be dialed down.
But headphones, risky business, because someone could knock on the door and creak it open. Like,
Yeah.
oh, is he in there? And he creaks it open, there you are whacking off with your headphones on.
Yeah. Classic mistake of a teenager.
Yeah. So
classic risk of dad walking in.
Yeah.
Teenage risk right there.
You want that?
That is a full-on cautionary teenage tale right there.
You want that 5 to 10% audio level.
You just want to be able to hear. Just want to a little bit. But anyway, so
but anyway,
so. I had it on mute, and then I just started doing my work, right? And I was just like, doing my actual work, right? And then I was like, all right. And then I done my work. I turned back to my computer. A girl, right, was astride a dude going up and down, full screen.
Yeah.
On my computer. And I have no idea how long it was there for. It could have been there for a good 5 minutes because I hadn't been paying attention.
Yeah.
And it was just boom, right there, going at it, fucking with hats off.
Yeah.
And I was the very first thing I did was turn, and my coworker who sits behind me, who would have seen it, was not looking.
Right.
So, and then I quickly clicked out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long that was there for.
Interesting decision to look to the coworker before getting out of it. My first instinct would be to
Click
immediately,
out.
well, just to close it. I'd just close the lid.
Right.
I'm at work. This is a fucking disaster. I've had nightmares like this.
Yeah.
My first instinct would be to slam down the thing in a very conspicuous manner, to slam down the thing and then look around.
Well, it was the first time that I'd been legitimately embarrassed, a deep sense of shame washed over me.
I'm just glad though. I mean, you're just lucky though that okay, nobody saw, but just say they did see. At least it was kind of, it was RedTube, not extremetube.com.
Yeah.
And it wasn't exploited teens Asia. It was
my second favorite site.
Your second favorite site. What was it? Just normal just a man and a woman having sex.
Yes. Yeah. So nothing weird.
How positively vanilla.
Yeah. Nothing crazy.
Right. Well, that was very lucky though. Right?
So it was lucky, but it is funny because that's exactly what happened to this girl that I was dating with. I went round and she's like, oh yeah, should I put on some music? She opened up her laptop and this fucking hardcore porn started playing, and it was you did exactly what I did. Yeah. And what was funny is one, we had only just hung out one other time.
Yeah, but that's a promising sign when you see
good.
that. When you see that in a girl, it's in a guy I can feel she might be a little repulsed.
Yeah.
But in a girl you
go respect.
Yeah, you
just go respect.
All right, I'm on board. I like how you think.
But and then she was
should we get started?
And she was and she did the classic try to click out of it, but it kind of being froze and not really working, still keep going. It was
See, girls do watch porn, man.
Girls do watch porn, man.
I mean, we know they do, but why is mum the word on that one? Why are they so sort of evasive about porn?
Because then they can't look down on us when we do it. it.
I know that I've asked a lady that will remain anonymous, but fairly easy to guess, and, I asked her.
No hints here.
I asked her if she'd ever, if she watches porn, and like the answer wasn't no, but the answer, she also
was like,
yes,
get out, you freak.
and it was like, and I was sort of like, well, because what are we going to watch, what do you want to watch, sort of thing, and it seemed like just too afraid to commit to anything, but clearly knew
exactly what she wanted
exactly
to
what was
watch.
going on, and so it's funny why are girls like that a little bit. Well, not all girls, generalization, but
little cagey,
a lot of girls.
I think it's just it's somehow.
Well, it's
like,
not the societal norm, is it?
exactly. I guess it's just perceived as a little bit shameful in a way.
Well, it's shameful for us too.
I mean for us.
All right.
And therefore, it's even more shameful for a girl with principles and morals, and not a dirty, disgusting guy, a dirty, disgusting, creepo guy.
But see,
this is expected of us. These, dignified, respectful women would never, be checking out the same stuff.
Bang bus. Bangbus.com. so like, because I'm curious about that too, because if you look up porn on the internet, 99% of it seems like it's it's aimed towards men, because that's where the market is. And so presumably women, when they're watching porn, are watching porn that is kind of aimed at men. And so there's kind of all this very ass to mouth and these types of things happening. And yet the women are watching it, and presumably
do you think they heard that on the thing?
Yeah,
do you know what that was?
Phone went off. What?
That was a Tinder match.
Oh shit! Live update.
Yeah, boy.
Live update.
Anyway,
I find it curious. I'm sort of thinking. The women are obviously watching the same porn as us, touching themselves the same as we are. Into the same thing in a way. So maybe porn is not as sort of male oriented as I think it is.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love.
Now, thanks for that interlude there. So now this Tinder update that you just got, this Tinder match, is that something you can like? Is it just someone's right swiped you, or is it like? Is it like something? Is it like a message that we can like talk about on the podcast?
No, it's not a message though. It is literally like someone that I swipe.
And is she hot? On a cold night. Which one is she? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which one is she? Which one is she? Righty. Yeah. We're just judging young lady. We're just judging young lady on Tinder. All right. Well, look. We better end this because I'm literally about to piss my pants. Yeah,
me too.
All right.
Well, look. Thank
you very much for listening.
Yes.
Get in touch with you if you watch porn, ladies. Let us know in the comments below. And
good luck with that.
if you've got topics for us for next week's show, just get on the Pigville Productions page and let us know in a message, or on our wall, or add me, Harley Neville, and just let me know.
All right. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.